Alright, so now we need to create the hero class, and to get started, I guess we would want to create an RPG project. So say file, new project, and then over here we'll say RPG, and then I'll just put here test, and we'll say create, be sure, no, we don't need, okay, it doesn't matter. So the interpreter doesn't matter, and we'll say create. New window, say OK, and then I'll right click and I'll say new Python file, and I'll say RPG again, and then I'm coming over here and I am looking at the text version of this lesson series, clicking on this link, and I am copying the code and putting it here, right? So there we go, and you have already done this and you finished this story, and so now we want to make the hero class, right? So then at the very top of our program, we're going to say class hero. Classes always start with a capital letter, which is the reason why function definitions and variable names always start with lowercase to distinguish them from class names. All right. And so let me just double check on the syntax here. So I'll drop that there. So class hero, semicolon. I'll get this def init, and the init function is the constructor. So when you create a object of type hero, it's going to run this function here. And the purpose of this constructor is to simply create the instance variables associated with this class hero and set them equal to their initial value, right? And so what do we need? Well, we need energy, because we need to set the energy to a certain value, right? So we can say here energy. We do need an attack to set the attack to that value. We need a gold to set the gold to that value, and we need a weapon number to set the weapon to that value. And one thing to notice is the self here, right? So this is required as the first argument for every method in the class, right? And so what does the self refer to? It refers to the object that is calling any of these methods. Okay. So just know that you need to put that there as the first argument. And so now we're going to say self, because we are talking about this hero that we are creating, and we're going to say self.energy. And notice here we're not saying self.heroEnergy, right? And because now that we have the hero class, that would be redundant, right? So we're just going to say energy, and we know it's part of the hero's energy, and we are going to set it equal to energy that is coming in from the call to the constructor, right? And so these two are distinguished by the self, right? So self means it's this part of this hero class's, the instance of this hero class's instance variables. This energy does not have self, meaning it's just a local variable that is being used by the constructor. So there we go, and we say self.attack is going to equal to attack, and we will say self.gold is equal to gold, and self.weapon is equal to weapon. And that's about it for now. We won't define these just yet, and let's go ahead and test and see if it works, right? So down here, instead of making those global variables upstairs at the top of your program, we are going to make a hero variable that's going to contain an instance of the class hero, right? And so this is going to run the constructor, and now we need to give the constructor the arguments that it requires. So I will just go ahead and copy this, come down here, paste it, and so my energy, I'm going to set it to 100. My attack, I'm going to set to 50. My gold, I'm going to set to 20. And my weapon, I'm going to set to 0 for bare fists. And I think we are good. Oh, no. We still need these two arrays, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and grab these two guys. And I want to say self.weapon. Well, maybe I can call it weapon array. That's probably a more descriptive variable name. So self.weapon, and I want to do underscore damage, right? So okay, there we go. And then now that I have that, I can go ahead and delete these global variables. Okay, so now let's go ahead and run this, and you can see it runs fine, right? And then now let's also, maybe we can print part of the hero out, right? So just to see that it's actually working, so we'll say hero.gold. We'll print that out, and you can see here that it prints out 20, right? And that's what I used here in the constructor. And then maybe I could print out something like the hero, right, has hero dot energy. Whoa. Energy. So let's see if that works. Ooh, okay. Hero dot energy. Okay, so I think this thing needs to be turned into a string in order to be concatenated with the other strings. So let me do that, and I will run it. Yeah, right here. Hero has 100 energy. So we proved that this hero variable is a object, an instance of the hero class that uses these values to initialize the different instance variables. Yeah, and so that's the first step.